Alola Pokemon trainers, this is Gatorex, and today I'll be discussing things in Pokemon Sun and Moon that I found disappointing. Before I begin, let me just remind you to check out my last spicy top 5. And you can also follow me on Twitter at this handle. With that taken care of, let's begin. Now, Sun and Moon were great games, but there were some things I feel weren't the best they could have been. Starting off with number 5. Alola forms. Of course, the few Alola forms we did get were pretty cool and somewhat well deserved for these Pokemon, but when they were first announced, the possibilities ran wild amongst the community. So many great ideas were discussed and thought of, but in the end, the actual forms we got couldn't live up to the hype. Obviously, the hype built up by the fans was pretty excessive, but I can say with confidence that there were Pokemon deserving of an Alola form that didn't get one. I mean, people do love Sandslash and Raticate and Dugtrio, but don't you think there might have been other Pokemon who were even more loved? The number of Alola forms we got was pretty generous, but I was definitely left wanting more. When the entire Pokédex was leaked early, I just thought, oh, that's it? Now, I don't want to sound at all ungrateful, but there were definitely some missed opportunities. Number 4. A while ago, I was discussing Pokemon Sun and Moon with one of my good friends, and one of the biggest complaints was summed up with these simple words. You're not the main character. Now, I did love the story of Sun and Moon. I thought Team Skull and Aether were great, and the dynamic between Lily, Gladion, and Lusamine was fantastic. But what did I, as a main character, really do? I mean, I did defeat Lusamine and help summon Solgaleo, but truthfully, I was just along for the ride. This was Lily's story. I was helping her deal with her mother and protect Nebby. Of course, when the plot was taken care of, I was free to pursue my dreams and become the Pokemon champion, but I legitimately felt like Max in Fury Road. Now, I do realize that overall you were still the main character of the game, but there's no denying that the main plot was Lily's story. I was just there for the muscle work. Just think of how much better it would have been if the player character were in the place of Lily. Number 3. After receiving Mega Evolutions in the 6th generation, how would Pokemon follow it up? With Z-moves, of course. Z-moves are interesting, and there are some cool strategies that have been formulated with them, but overall, I felt very underwhelmed by them. When they were originally revealed, people thought they'd be absolutely broken, but when the game was actually released, they were just kind of eh. I mean, Z-moves can be pretty cool, but in the end, they're just more powerful moves that can only be used once per battle and take up an item slot. It's just they had to follow Mega Evolutions, which were game-changing, unique, and amazing, and they just couldn't live up to it. Number 2. Ultra Beasts were interesting. I was skeptical of them at first, thinking they'd ruin my Pokemon games, but once that wore off, I was pretty excited for how they could tie into the story. I mean, Nihilego had a great integration, but the rest, they were just kind of there. The Ultra Beast missions were kind of cool, but they were more reminiscent of roaming legendaries, which I was never a big fan of. I mean, we were introduced to Ultra Space and were only there for a few minutes. How cool would it have been to travel back to Ultra Space, have it more expanded and fleshed out, and face the rest of the Ultra Beasts in their home turf? It would have been like the Distortion world, but with freaking Ultra Beasts. It just sucks to be told that the Pokemon universe is much bigger than we think, but to not be able to fully experience it. Number 1. The Festival Plaza. In Generation 6, we were given the PSS system. I think this was the best form of communication, and in ORAS it was expanded to include the DexNav, which was a great feature. The DexNav made finding hidden ability and shiny Pokemon so much easier. Now, these features were of course implemented into SOS battles, but I feel the DexNav and PSS made everything more streamlined and organized. The elimination of Super Training was a little disappointing as well. Again, easy EV training was incorporated into SOS battles, but I feel that Super Training at least made things easier for new players and was useful for more mindless EV training while doing something else. The Festival Plaza also feels very forced. There are some cool things and people have done the Festival Plaza grind, but the PSS was so much simpler. Sun and Moon did feel like it used the bottom screen a lot less, which may be a step toward a game on the Switch, but I do think the PSS could have been integrated without using the bottom screen entirely. It was just a little sad to lose something so mechanically useful from one of my favorite generations. Anyway, that's been it for my personal top 5 disappointments in Sun and Moon. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did you have different things on your list? Do you have a different order to this list? leave a comment and we can continue the discussion down there. Also remember to leave a like to show your support and subscribe if you'd like to stick around for new videos. Enabling notifications is the surefire way to make sure you see each new video as it's released during the YouTube apocalypse. All you have to do is click the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.